Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Palmisano here. Hope you're having a great day. Figured I'd jump on, do an impromptu open guitar lesson or ask me anything. So let's say hi to some people. We got Buster, Austin Campbell, Nothing Man. Okay, let's start with Austin. It says, hey Michael, any advice on how to learn new licks? I've been playing 20 years, using the same 7 or 8 licks for years. Love your stuff, man. Yeah, those of you that have been watching my channel a long time know exactly what I'm going to say. Learn the melody to every song that you want to play. The actual singable vocal melody. If it's hard to pick up, go download the sheet music, man. I'm telling you. There's not going to be tabs for it. But if you start approaching your leads from a melodic standpoint and then build from there, themes and variations, you're going to completely change the way you look at the neck, look at soloing. Guaranteed to play stuff you otherwise wouldn't. Learn the melody. Nothing Man. Same answer to the same question. Frank, how you doing? Zone Trend, good to see you. PJ, I think I've done Guthrie once or twice, right? Search it up. If not, go fire it in the Reacts request page on GuitarGate if you remember. Pete, good to see you. Justin Dykes, Mike C, favorite scale or mode? Honestly, the straight up major scale is probably my favorite. I know it's boring, but I'm still working on it every day. There's so much you can learn from diatonic harmony. Jason Rodriguez. Yes, Matt Schmidt. That's the idea. Keep it in your hands every day. Best guitar lesson in the world is just keep this thing out of the case, keep it out in your house, and swing by and pick it up as much as you can, as many times as you can. It's about frequency, not duration. Okay. Buster, have you ever finger-picked polyrhythms, and how the hell do you do it? Probably not. So, hard to do. Manuel, recommendations for using chords and notes in melodic lines and music motions. Sure, this one is an easy one, or at least I have an answer for it. So check it. Let's say, simply put, let's say you're in E major, and your melodic line, right, is just 1, 2, 3. Right? Just that little basic thing. Start with your dyads, right? Let's put your third. So pretend these are your roots, okay? Add in the diatonic third. Now, if you do the full triad, that really completes the chord. It might even do it too much for your liking. But the point is, you're basing this movement off of a little melodic idea. That's kind of what you do. And use the other notes that kind of are in the chord to kind of piece it together. So learn your harmonized scales. So not just single notes, but all the chords in your scale. So major 1-4-5, minor 1-6-2-5, diminished 7th. Okay, let's see what else we got. Crimson, Pantera was amazing. Exceeded all expectations. Yes, Zach does not play like Dime plays the parts. But Charlie does. Charlie plays the parts just like Vinnie Paul, and it's metal, it's Pantera. So you get that thing. You get the thunder in the air. And Phil sounded better than I've ever heard him sound. Rex sounded great. And Zach was just freaking amazed. Just a rock star. Like just complete Thor mode. Huge beard and the whole deal. There was fire and smoke. And I took my 12-year-old and his 13-year-old friend. The crew let him let them sit or stand with them on the rail so they didn't get all mangled in the pit. So they got like, a show for life, like the ages. Like it was so much better than I thought it would be, and I had pretty high hopes because all the footage was amazing. Okay. Owen Walker, what's the best way to identify different chord inversions? All right, this is actually a good question. So when you say identify, what that makes me think of is you're learning a song and you encounter something that doesn't fit. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you have something that has an A major chord, okay? You think it's in the key of A. And the way you learn stuff is you first find the bass movement, okay? Yes, you can think broadly of this sounds like a 4 or 5, but when things get challenging, what you want to do is say, okay, let me isolate one tone. Let me isolate the bass note and see what the bass note does. So let's say it goes from an A note, and you're pretty confident you're in the key of A, and it goes down a half step to G sharp. And you're like, okay, first things first. What if I do the diatonic chord? That would be G sharp diminished. And you play it and you're like that's not it. That's not the sound I'm hearing. So then your next step would be, okay, let's assume it's the third. So if we know it's not the root, if that doesn't work, the next logical thing to do would be, let's see if it's the third. And you play the third. So if G sharp is the third, that means the chord is E major. So you have E, G sharp, and B. And if that's the note, you're like, oh, that's it. That's it. So you got A, E over G sharp. You're like, oh, that inversion works. Maybe that doesn't sound exactly right. Maybe the function sounds right, but it just doesn't really speak to, like, something's a little off. You think it might be another version. What's your other choice? A fifth, okay? So if this is a fifth, that would mean your root would be here, would be C sharp. So that would mean your C sharp minor. So that would be a 3 chord in the key of A. So if you hit this, right? And that sounds right, then you know your second inversion, fifth in the bass. So that's what you do. You do your best to hear the changes in the chords and establish your key. And then go by the bass note, and then is it the diatonic root chord, the diatonic chord that ends on the third, or the fifth? If neither of those are the case, right, then you have something that probably left key, in which case, again, hang on that bass note, try any major chord, a minor triad, try a diminished triad, move around the different intervals based on whether it's the root, the third, or the fifth, and you'll find it. And then you just go on and on and on and on. But you do it in that systematic way. Sagebrush Hillbilly, man, thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate you. This channel is special. Man, we try to be. I try to keep it about the music. I try to teach something, and I try to, expose artists that, or be a platform for artists that people may not know about, or showcase something about them they might not have seen, so that we all find new stuff and stay motivated, stay inspired, and ultimately play new stuff too, right? Keep playing the guitar. Okay, John Smith, how to do a bend vibrato with the index finger. So I basically don't. The only exception is when I'm descending Hendrix style. So like, let's say I'm on B minor, right? Right? That kind of thing, where he would go like that. And even that, it doesn't feel totally natural to me. So what I would say is, go in like a pattern 4 minor situation, right? So B, minor pentatonic, Start with that minor third right there. Right? And work on just the vibrato right here. Forward and back, side to side, little slow pull to the major third. And then as you go up, you can do, if it makes sense for you. Very rarely does that make sense to me, but Hendrix would do it, which is kind of how I, whatever. Juru, how do I feel about perfect fourth tuning? I have never messed with something like that, but I know other instruments are tuned that way, but I have not learned them. Yeah. I don't know. It would really, really screw me up to have B and E on the top. Like, it would really be an issue. I bet there's some cool stuff you could find doing that, but like, I'm still working on standard, and there's an ocean to figure out. Mikey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Skylar W, thoughts on 24 fret guitars? To each his own. Again, I'm still working on right here too, so it's not like I need more to do more. There's plenty to be figured out everywhere. Buzzard, when am I going to do another Radiohead video? You know what? I'll write it down. I'll go on GuitarGate and see who has requested a Radiohead video. I'm ready for another one. I'm also going to do another Kendrick Lamar video. I mean, people want to see a whole album reaction. Maybe I'll do that with Radiohead too. For those of you out there, would you be interested in watching somebody watch or listen to with the headphones an entire album? That is how I prefer to consume music, but it just seems so long form, even for a long form platform like YouTube. But people have been asking for it. So maybe I'll do Kendrick and a Radiohead album, and if so, which one? All right. Yeah, Ja Rule. Yes, 100%. Okay. David, I would love to see you jam with Chris Buck and Patrick Droney. I have not jammed with Patrick, but I have jammed with Chris before in Germany. There's some footage out there, some booze playing, if you will, from the after party at whatever factory we were in. It exists if you dig deep. I would love to play with Chris again. Okay. Roland, man, thank you for that. I appreciate it. I mean, what a band. Just what a band. Juru, again, more D'Angelo. Talk about what a band. D'Angelo's always had an amazing band. Okay, let's see here. What else we got? Good to see everybody. Lots of new faces and names up here. Joseph Kelly, break the album up like he did for Cornell. That's my gut feeling, but that's also a lot of videos. Sometimes people just want one video, even if they jump around. And yeah, Kid A would be the obvious one, I would think. Okay. Will the album get copyright striked? So here's the thing. I would have to start and stop the video. I'd have to talk over it, maybe play guitar over it. I'd have to, what's known in the industry as substantially transform it. So I couldn't just sit there with the headphones on for 40 minutes and just listen. And I would have to break the flow of the music, talk over it. Again, it's substantially transformed. So your key benchmark is no one would think that it's a substitute for the original. Like, it would be clear that it has been substantially transformed. Like, no one would listen to my thing instead of listening to the record. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of how it works. Okay. I would love to do a Robbie Robertson video. I know he just passed. And Tom, good to see you, man. God, there's just so many good ideas. Let's see. David, any tips on first time jamming with other guitar players? Well, hopefully that you are playing with people better than you, so you can learn some things. And so, whenever I play with people I've never played with before, or even if I have played with them, but it's a big band, I mean, I do very little. I kind of wait until my solo, and then if I take a solo, I try to keep it simple. If I know the melody, I'll try to shoot for the melody. But otherwise, like, I really am watching what other people are doing, and I don't come in on the rhythm parts unless I have to, like it's a power trio, or I know for sure that I'm adding something. So, and even when I do, I won't typically play big shapes. I'll typically just come in, right? Little things that stay out of the way just to make sure it fits. I'm always most concerned that everybody else who invites me to sit in and play leaves the experience thinking that I only added something, I didn't detract, and that I'm a professional and treated it as such, and respected the song. Like, those are always the big things. Darren Jones, slash chords. Slash chords are huge. For those that don't know, a slash chord is just a chord with, it's an easy way to write a chord that could otherwise be complicated. Perfect example, let's say you have this chord. Now, you could look at A as the root of the chord, and this would be root, flat 7, 9, or 2, and then your 4, okay? Or 11. So you could say this as, A7, or A7 or A11 sus, or some you could, point is, it's also just a G major triad over F. So you just write G/F, right? Because there's actually more information in saying G over F than there is in saying, A7 sus 4 or A11, because then what happens in that situation is you could play any of the extensions up to the 11. Okay, you could play the 9, you could play the 11. It doesn't really tell you the main structure. Okay, the structure in here really is this triad. Everything in music really gets boiled down to the structure of a triad. So saying just G over A, there's actually more information there than this bigger chord form. Okay. Paul Ramirez, any tips on creating an effective practice schedule? Yeah, Paul. So I have a video out there. It's called The 4 Pillars of an Effective Practice Routine. Just Google it on YouTube. And I believe it's the first video, like when you sign up for GuitarGate, it's the first video that I email to you in that like welcome email series. I don't remember. But the point is it's about, the key takeaways are that, one, it's about repetition and not duration. So when you're forming your practice schedule, it shouldn't be, I need an hour a day every day and I don't deviate. It should be like subdivided into practice sessions that are shorter. So 10, 15-minute goals. And so if you have 2 or 3 of those a day, then you have 2 to 3 different 10, 15-minute things to work on. If you have 1, that's fine, right? It's about constantly picking this thing up and trying stuff. So that's the first thing. But then your 4 pillars are, you want to be actually, and you want to try to make these as even as possible. So you're spending as much of these little practice sessions as possible on these 4 things. And you can, like, 1 week you can do 1, you can do it the next week, you can do it day to day. But the point is, overall, as a lifestyle, you want to try to make these things pretty even. And that's 1, straight finger exercises, building strength, building dexterity, just like going to the gym. 2, following an actual curriculum. So it can be the one on GuitarGate that I wrote. It can be going to a school. It can be something your private instructor gave you. It can be anybody you follow online, whatever resonates with you. But something where it's just like, okay, if I've completed this, this is the next step. This is the next step of learning this and connecting all these things. Part 3 is learning the songs that you love. And here's the key thing, applying the things that you're learning in your curriculum to the songs that you learn. So don't just learn tabs and learn where to put your fingers. Put words to it. Like, this is a perfect example. This is a G major triad over F or over A, right? That even though that is that, it's also the flat 7 of A, the 9th, and the 4th. Like, putting words to it will let you use it in other places, will let you internalize it. Words are important in life and they're important in music. And the last thing is create. Use the stuff you've learned, use the stuff that's inspired you, and then try to make something that only you can make, whether it's songs or improvising over loops, or whether it's just writing in your journal some lyrics, whatever it is, focus on creation. So it's those 4 things. It's exercise, follow a learning path, learn the stuff that you love, but learn the why behind it, put words to it, and then try to make stuff that only you can make. Do that, an equal-ish balance of those 4 things, but then know that it's about repetition and not duration. 3 10-minute sessions are worth more than 1 30-minute session, like, every time. It's just the truth. Okay. What else do we have? Michael Stovall. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. You're a lifetime member. Thank you so much. Just trying to get stronger. Me too. For all you interested, the link to GuitarGate is in the description. Or you can just search GuitarGate on Google. You can become a lifetime member like Michael. It's the best way to support the channel and support me. You get all my lessons and courses that I've done in the past, everything I will do in the future as a one-time payment. You get to pick what comes next on YouTube, and you get a special badge on the site. So for anybody interested, again, you can click the first link in the description or just search GuitarGate anywhere. So thank you. Vincent, volume swells smoothly. I don't even know if I'm very good at that, man. Like. You know, it's interesting because different pots, right? These tone pots or whatever, they're not always uniform. It's not like 0, 0 and 10 is 10 and it's a uniform track. A lot of them, it's like nothing, 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 and then from 7 to 10 is all the different change. So what I would recommend is that you start with something loud with it off, and then find where it really starts to pick up or where there's a dead spot. And especially do the opposite. So start at 10 and bring it back and try to find where the sweet spot is in that roll to where you really, like, the noticeable audible difference feels like it matches the roll on the hand, and then go from there. That's really the best advice I could give you. Lone Trout, did you send a super chat? Perhaps I did. I'll check. Let me get Cody Myers. Cody, thank you for the donation. Says, any quick tips on getting somebody started playing the melody of a song? Yes, Lone Trout, I see you. I got you next. Thanks for circling back. You'd be surprised how much I miss when I'm looking here and it just goes by. But thank you for the donation. Start with simple songs. The song that I always recommend people starting is right? It's the that Allman Brothers song. Only got one more silver dollar. I forget. Why can't I remember the name of it? But that it's just this very simple song, and the reason that I start with it is because it's 1, 2, 3. Midnight Rider. Sorry. Is because when it goes to this B flat over G, or G minor 7 if you will. It's got that. It jumps to the flat 3. So we had 1, 2 major third in the verse, but in the chorus, it's minor third. So this is a classic example of like, oh, how do I mix major and minor? How do I sound bluesy? It's that one note that changes when that chord changes, right? There's G minor. The root becomes F. It goes down to its flat 7 to make G minor 7 to complete this B flat major chord. B flat major triad. All we're doing is we're going to accentuate that note, and that is the major third of D. That's F. And so that's the one I always start people on. Lone Trout, thank you so much. Again, sorry I missed it. Always enjoy what you do. Been a player for 30 years, never made peace using a pick. Any advice on how to get comfortable with a pick? Yeah, man. You know, a pick, you know, you don't have to get comfortable with a pick. And people use it in different ways. If you've been playing a long time and you are used to strumming a lot of big chords and so on and so forth, I would recommend big, sweeping, you know, trying to do the... like focus on muting the fretting hand and just big things like that. But if you're trying to develop lead playing with a pick and you're not used to it, it's a totally different animal. Just make sure that it's coming out at a 90-degree angle, and you don't want it like way out like that. The closer you can get it to your fingers when you're starting to use a pick, the better, because you're already used to your fingers being right there. So you want to shorten the distance. That's probably the biggest deal, is that when people start using a pick, they have like this much pick out, and it's this big flimsy thing, and they feel disconnected. So get it right in there. Let me see if it'll zoom in. Like, get it right in there, right? And then you're close, and then... like as close to the flesh of your finger as possible. That's what you want to do. Thanks so much. Strum Bum, thanks for the donation. He said, I'm feeling like a beginner in guitar, and I'm a lifetime guitar gator. Thank you, Strum Bum. Appreciate that. Just started the hybrid picking course, but I feel like the bass note is so much louder. Well, it's gonna be. You know, the working on how much volume and your dynamics with your different digits takes a long time. One thing I would recommend is play clean. If you're not using an acoustic guitar, play with a clean amplifier without many effects. Maybe a little verb or something like that if you want it to just give you a little give. But really, don't play with compression or anything like that. Just really try to be conscious of it. And when you do your rolls, obviously the ones that are being picked are going to have a different timbre. You know, this versus... right? So don't forget about the timbre difference, but then just try to... try to get used to playing different volumes with all the fingers, not just the pick. John Edwards, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Jake's amazing. Hey, Bluebird, good to see you. Cashew, good to see you. Mods, again, thanks for all you do. I really appreciate that. I know that a lot of you have been deleting a lot of overly political and negative comments, especially on Oliver Anthony's recent videos, because people get pretty triggered. Thank you for making it stay about the music, okay? I notice it, I appreciate it, I love you, and I thank you. Negativity isn't tolerated here, my friends. We're all trying to get better. Yeah, we're all our own worst enemies. We're not going to try to make any more. Okay, so, what do we have here? What do you have here? Dirty Mike, God, what a bad question. What would you say to someone that has shattered the tips and crushed the tendons of their fretting hands? Man, I don't know if that makes the guitar unplayable for you, but if so, dude, slide. Slide or lap steel. Something like that. There are so many phenomenal players. Look at Django. I mean, these two fingers were mangled, and what he did with these two. So many people have overcame such tremendous hurdles, and because it forced them to focus on fewer things, or in most situations, a singular approach, they kind of get greater faster at that singular approach because it's a singular focus. So I wish you luck, my friend. I've never had anything like that. I did slam these two fingers in my truck door the first week I was at GIT. Had to play my first semester like this because these were taped together. They were all fractured, but I've never had anything like you had. 0311, man, another lifetime member. I love it. Guys, again, if you're interested, first link in the description, you get all my lessons and courses, everything I've ever done and everything I ever will do. And I just totally appreciate you allowing me to do this for a living. Are there exercises or stretches to increase range, specifically a 2-fret stretch between index and middle finger? All right, so check it. So the only times I really do these, like index and middle, let me rephrase this. I'm a firm believer that economy of motion is paramount, okay? Not just for tone, but for endurance, for playing all night, and for proper form. So anytime you can do this, do that over this, and don't do that, right? 1 digit, 1 fret, with the obvious exception when you're playing bigger stretches for legato purposes. That's the main one that I use it for. So in that respect, what I would say is don't isolate like this. Practice like the whole shape and really try to like those up here. When you're down here, try to keep it 1, 3, 4. Remember, 1 digit a fret. But when you're doing bends, sometimes you just want to use the stronger finger. But my advice would still be the same. Practice them in the situations you're most likely to use them, and practice using proper technique and form in those big legato stretches. Try to make the sounds even, and again, just exhaust them. Go till you feel a burn, try to work on relaxing, stretch them out, and keep doing it again and again. Hope that's helpful. Okay, Steve Camp, great channel. Thank you, man. He said, just completed a new record. I'm a keyboard player, but have tried to better my guitar playing. Your videos have helped tremendously. Man, I appreciate that. Mr. Tonic, welcome. Work just gets in the way. I know. I should have pinged Discord to let everybody know I was going live. I'm working on it. I'm working on getting more organized in my life. Good to see you. A Kid with a Camera, thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate you all donating to the channel. It helps a lot. What tools help identify key scale? Working on Would You Be Impressed by Tokay. I don't know that song. It's fast finger picking and struggling to establish where to start. I don't know that song, but basically, if things are really, really fast, you know what? Let's pull it up. Let's see. Hopefully, this won't get blocked. But let's see if we can do this in real time for you, and I'll show you how I would approach this song. Give me a moment here, if you would. Let's see. Tokay. Now, if it's a really hard one, you have to remember, it's not going to be easy. Okay. Would You Be Impressed? Let's see here. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let me pull this up here. Present. Wasn't ready to do this, but you get what you get. Okay. All right, let's listen. So the first thing I would do is I'd audiate. Let me do it like this here. What is the tonal center that I'm hearing? Notice I'm not using my guitar. I'm just F. So I'm just going to guess it's F. Now let's see here. Sounds happy. Sounds major, right? F major. That sounds right. So you got this pedal tone. It sounds to me like this is an open string ringing out. So if that's the case, that immediately makes me think I need a capo, or they're in a different tuning because that drone sounds open to me. Let's see here. So right there, okay? So you got, you hear the bass note not move, but the upper triad, but da da da, but da da da, but da da da. So root 1 2 3, root 1 2 3, but da da da, but da da da. So root triad, root triad. You hear that triad move. So what you would do is you take educated guesses, and stuff like this is very easy to get wrong. And if you're going note for note, even this 3-minute piece could take you a day or so. That. And then. So where's that note that moves? So all I'm doing here is I'm isolating the note that stands out in the change. So F doesn't move, and I'm hearing this flat 7 of F. This E flat is pervasive, right? In this thing, okay? So I haven't established the whole tonality, but then this E flat clearly moves up to E. So it would just go on and on like that. I would try to isolate the movement, try to build a triad around the movement, and go from there. That's how you attack things like this, if you will. Okay, Justin Battle. Why is the 9 called the 9 and not the 2? Justin, thank you for the donation, and thank you for the question. Simple. It's in a regular scale, there are 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But when you play chords that have that are 7th, so once you get beyond 7, so let's say like this. Here's E. If I do E major, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once you get back to 1 again, and you were to add anything else like this up the chord, it then just keeps going. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, just like that. It's a shorthand way for you to say, we've moved on to the next octave. So anytime you have a 7th chord, so let's say you have A. If it's A major, 1, 3, 5. If it's A7, that implies 1, 3, 5, flat 7, right? But then if you also have a B in here, like that, right? Then you would be a 9. And all that's telling you is that this, you can play the 7th, but you don't, like, in other words, it's telling you, if there's a 9, it means the seventh is also implied because you've gone past 7. And when you go past 7, then you just keep going. So that's why. So it's a shorthand way of saying these are all, we've moved on to the next octave in the same thing. But people, just because they're used to that, even if we're not playing chords, we'll just say, oh, we're A, B is the 9. We're just used to saying that because we're used to talking about extensions. It's like a colloquialism, but that's why. Okay. Mike, so glad. Let's see. Did I miss anything else? Manuel, you'll love it. Chris, appreciate it. Mateus Asado, I would love to. White Walker, same basic thing, man. How to find correct chord progression of a song on the spot, especially if there's no bass note in the song and there's just melody. So there isn't a song that stands out to me when you say that. There's usually some type of bass note, but the same advice is true. It's what can you pick up? If it's a single tone, if it start with audiation. Does the sound that you like? If you were to sing, what would be the note that sounds like home bass to you? Okay, you have that tone. Then, does it sound major or minor? Does it sound happy or sad? Start with applying your educated guesses of, okay, if it's major, I'm going to apply diatonic harmony. I'm assuming that's the 1, so that means the 4 and the 5 are major, 2, 3, and 6 are minor, right? Things that don't fit, you just got to use your ear and put together. But it's isolate single notes, use your voice to help you, and then whatever you can say, okay, that's definitely it, then use your knowledge of music theory, which again is just the study of why things sound good. That's it. I love driving that home because it makes it so clear. When you think about it like that, you're like, of course it won't stifle you. Like you're just like, there's a reason the major scale sounds good to most people, right? It's that simple. So if you find a note and you're like, okay, I'm 100% positive there's a D in here, an E, and an F sharp in the melody, right? So maybe there's no bass note, but I know for sure it goes. Okay, where in music do you have notes 2 whole steps apart? So you have 3 notes, 2 whole steps apart. If you think of diatonic harmony, you have whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay? So it could be starting from the 1, whole, whole. Okay? Or it could be starting after the 5. So let's say this is your 5 chord is D. This could be 6, and this could be 7. See what I'm saying? And so you isolate what you can with your ear, use your instrument, and then you use your brain and apply a basic understanding of music theory to try to help use educated guesses to figure it out. That's what everyone does. It's not more complicated than that. Okay, Zach Pax, thanks for your vids. They've helped me build confidence in playing, which is essential. Also makes playing fun instead of like work. Zach, that is the whole point, my friend. Have fun, and when you're having fun, you will be confident, and you'll try stuff you otherwise wouldn't. I'm so glad that that's your takeaway from this channel and this community. Okay, I'm going to call it there, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning into this impromptu live stream, an open lesson. 1, let me know if you'd like me to do more of these. I feel a deep, how do I put this? I feel a disconnection between the 11 years that I've been teaching online and compared to the years I spent teaching and gigging in person. I want to gig more, and I want to do more one-on-one. And I want to do more of these. So if you would tune into these and just kind of wait your turn and see if it gets through, let me know. I would love to do more of these. And on that note, too, I'm not sure yet, but over the years, I've gotten thousands of requests for people to do one-on-one lessons. Now, I don't have the ability to do that, but I'm seriously thinking of opening up like a very limited amount, like 5 people maybe, to do like an 8-week quarter or a mini semester, like what I used to do at GIT, where we meet like once a week for an hour, and I give you a plan to go through the courses or to review your music, whatever you want to work on. But it's limited to like this 8-week period or 6 weeks or something. And then after that, you go on your own because I can't commit to whatever. But I'm thinking about maybe doing one of those a day if anybody would be interested. If you are, it looks like people are, maybe I'll send an email out and take people's temperature. But that's it, my friends. Tim Wilson, appreciate that. You're working through multiple in parallel. Do more streams and ask. Yeah, please like and hit the bell and make sure you're subscribed so that YouTube throws stuff at you that I do. That's it, my friends. I love you all. I'll see you very, very soon. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for allowing me to teach you a little something, but hopefully just inspire you to pick this thing up and keep it in your hands. I'll see you soon, and thanks for all of you that are members at GuitarGate. You guys make my world go round, and I'm deeply grateful. Mods, you're the best too. Good to see you. Thanks for all you do for making this a safe, music-centered place. Cheers.